Welcome back to 2CTV, your global news channel with some breaking news coming from the southern border between the United States and Mexico, as we have reports of clashes between the US border patrol agents and of course the Mexican side. Obviously the cartel are not too happy about their mass deportations and the border security under the new Trump administration. There's a lot to talk about. We also have some updates for you guys on some of the big names in terms of the ones who've been arrested, foreign criminals who are going to be deported now, or who have been deported by ICE. And obviously if you're watching this live, we're going to get your reaction during the live show as usual. If you're not watching this live, then leave a comment below. Now let's talk about what's been going on within the last hour or so. That's the image that we have thanks to the local media. Within the last hour, border patrol agents near Fronton, that's in Texas, were fired upon from Mexico by suspected cartel gunmen as a group of illegal immigrants were being brought across the river. So obviously their whole business model is being disrupted completely, as you guys know, because the cartel, obviously they don't just deal with as an organized crime. They're not just dealing with drugs, they're also dealing with human trafficking and other criminal activities. They do help as people smugglers. They do help a lot of the illegals to enter the United States. Some of them are obviously members of the cartel. Some of them will be working for the cartel in America within their criminal networks, and so obviously they're going to be running out of business with the new Trump policy. So they're not too happy, and they wanted to start they wanted to poke the bear. So they decided to start shooting at the border agents from Texas. Didn't really end too well, because obviously the Texans don't mess with people from Texas. It's not really a good idea. Usually countries are diplomatic. So if somebody hypothetically from Mexico, or I mean in the situation of Europe, for example, if somebody the criminals shoot from Germany towards the neighboring countries like France or whatever, you don't really get the governments from France shooting back. But we do. So the Texans decided to shoot back and obviously send a message that don't mess with Texas. Now, following what's been going on over the last few minutes, an hour or so, the Texas Department of Public Safety are now patrolling the area and have a drone in the air and can see the Mexican military assets now staging on the other side of the river as we speak. Obviously, this is a live development. We'll find out what happens over the next few hours, and obviously over the next few days and weeks, because this is going to be an ongoing issue. The battle is not just between the governments, the battle is between the Americans and of course the criminal gangs, mostly based in Mexico. This is the location of the gunfire that happened, obviously on the Fronton side, but the fires were coming, the gunfire was coming from Los Guerra in Mexico. So all that's happening. Meanwhile, the Trump administration have been very busy today across the United States, trying to hunt down the illegal migrants, but also foreign criminals. There are two different categories that are going after: those who are not supposed to be there anyway, and those who have actually been committing more crimes in the United States. Again, this is going to be a little bit overwhelming for Mexico, especially because a lot of these people will be sent back. And obviously, as we showed you guys the earlier report, the Mexican government have basically caved in and said, fine, we will take back even the non-Mexicans back into Mexico, because they technically came from Mexico. Again, something that the UK government should do with France, but they don't have the bravery as the Americans do. So let's go to the first one, for example. This is from Los Angeles. The LA's ICE agents arrested a foreign fugitive wanted by authorities in El Salvador for homicide, illicit association, and also, let's not forget, terrorist organizations. Lovely, right? This non-citizen is pending removal to his home country. They had to hunt him down, and they managed to do this. There have been some very, very extreme cases as well when it comes to these people. So, for example, a big shout out to Real America's Voice. They've done a great job in terms of the journalism for this. This is from Chicago, and their illegal immigration enforcement operation. They basically caught this guy This guy was in America on a student visa. He killed a 19-year-old girl, a young girl named Maria, in a DUI crash, and now he wants to be able to stay in the country, right? This is the video we have from Real America's Voice, a quick conversation with this man.
Do you mind telling me your name?
Sorry, Pablo.
Where are you from?
India.
India. Want to say anything?
Well, I'm not sure really what's going on, but I deserve a fair chance. So I deserve a fair chance. Like, I'm married here, so if you guys give me a chance.
How long have you been here?
I've been here. I came in 16. In 18, I'm on an F1 visa. So in around 18, I had a fatal DUI crash, and it ended up me being in prison. And literally 10 days I got out.
10 days ago you got out? How long were you in prison for?
6 years, 9 months. I paid my time. Like, I don't know, like I did something wrong. I'm sorry about what I did. I'm not like.
Do you know the victim's name? What's their name?
Mariah.
Mariah. Was she? Were you here in Chicago when that happened? How old was she?
She was 19.
19. But you were here on a visa at that point. You said an F1.
Yes, student.
Oh, student. So your visa's obviously lapsed at that point.
When I catch the case, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Anything else? That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now received the footage from the clashes around the southern border between the Mexican cartel and the agents based in Texas. So we can quickly go to that video and see what we've been dealing with. Let's go.
Just across the river, yards from U.S. soil, cartel gunmen stroll along the riverbank, armed with rifles. They control the border in Mexico. Some aim AK-47s at Texas DPS helicopters. Others go to war with each other, with Texas DPS thermal drone video showing cartels throwing explosives at each other during a battle for control of the area.
All the activities happening.
So this is the footage, obviously, these are the reports that obviously it's been quite regular anyway. These sort of things do happen around the border. That the issue is that a lot of these clashes have been happening back in the day with different governments, but with the new leadership, especially when it comes to Tom Homan and others, and obviously President Trump himself, things are going to be absolutely different. Now, going back to the next person that we have, Cesar Polanco, and 59 years old, an illegal immigrant from the Dominican Republic, was paroled after serving just 17 years for brutally beating his pregnant wife to death in front of her 5-year-old son. Only 17 years, by the way. Let's not forget. Despite his life sentence, allegedly, the Massachusetts Parole Board approved his release, calling his adjustment positive. He was represented by Harvard's Prison Legal Assistance Project, which helps convicted criminals win parole. Now, luckily, with the new government in place, he was located, he was picked up, and he's now been deported. That's also another good news. Speaking of, obviously, the borders are Tom Homan. There's another quick video that he's done in another conversation about the busy day that he's had today, and of course the rest of the authorities across the United States. Let's go to Tom Homan.
All right, Tom. Talk to us about the day. I'll just hold on to it.
Look, it's a great day. This is all government approach. Look, I've been doing this 3.5 decades, and what President Trump has put together is amazing. Here in Chicago, and it was the first operation of this size and complexity. We had all a government approach. We had U.S. Marshals, DEA, FBI, ATF, ICE, ERO, NHSI. I mean, it's all a government approach, so we had a lot of resources come to look for public safety threats. As President Trump committed to, we're going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats, and that's what we did today. We arrest a lot of bad guys. I mean, last time I was down there, I think we got at least 7 sex offenders, serious sex offenders, child sex offenders. We got 2 murderers, illegal aliens who are convicted of murder. We got numerous Trendawa gang members. We got, aggravated assault suspects, convictions. So we took a lot of bad guys off the street today with the help of all these other agencies. And what's great about these agencies is not only the force multiplier, but if we find dope, DA can take that case and prosecute it. We find guns, especially with TDA, ATF can take that case and prosecute it. So it's just not about arresting criminal aliens for them. We're going to gather some prosecutions on this. As a matter of fact, we got 2 criminal warrants getting ready to be executed now. There are going to be prosecutions. So look, this great operation, it was well targeted. And one thing we showed today, I think, to the American people, we recorded a lot of it. It's not neighborhood sweeps looking for people different than us. It isn't racial profiling like you read on the left media. This is a well-planned operation. I walked through the command center. I saw the targeting system. I saw how they spent hundreds of hours working these targets up, making sure they have a criminal history and immigration history, and we're likely to find them. A lot of work went into this, and they did a great job. We took a lot of public safety threats off the street here in Chicago. This city's a lot safer today because of what ICE and the other agencies did here today.
Aurora, I don't know if you've been briefed on that. They had a big bust out there too. Nightclub, 50 plus illegals, guns, drugs. Any update on that? Have you been briefed or?
There's things going on in Aurora, and there's more things going on in Aurora. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Last thing, what I noticed today, your job would be made a hell of a lot easier if the state and the local would let you into the jails. The fact that you guys have to go out here, you've talked about this a lot. You have to go out into the community to get these guys because Governor Pritzker doesn't accept your detainers.
No, he's too busy lying to the American people because he put a social media post out the other day saying ICE agents were in an elementary school. You want to talk about putting fear in community? He says, I'm putting fear in community? To make a false claim that ICE is in a school, give me a break. He should have been with us today. I wish he would have been with us today to see exactly how we do and how we operate. But look, these bad guys should have been handed over to us right out of Cook County Jail. That way they're not back in the public to reoffend. Look at these child sex predators. They're on the streets of Chicago. It would have been so much easier to notify ICE. One agent can arrest one bad guy in the safety and security of the jail. But when we release a sexual predator to the street, it puts the officer at risk, and now we got to arrest him on his turf. It puts the children in the community at risk, and it puts the alien himself at risk because anything can happen in street arrest. So I wish they let us in the jail. It's more efficient, it's safer for the community, safer for everybody. To release a public safety threat back into the public when you hand them over to us, it's just ridiculous. It's not common sense. And I hope they come to the table and work with us.
If they don't, will you be able to use the federal supremacy clause, you think, to go around them? And
we're going to do everything we can to fight back in sanctuary cities, because sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. That's all it is. They'll tell you that they're protecting victims and witnesses of immigration crime, to feel free to come to law enforcement, not be afraid they're working with ICE. That's a bunch of crap. The victim and witness of crimes don't want the bad guy back in their neighborhood either. It's ridiculous. That whole concept's ridiculous. We want to talk to the guy they locked in a jail cell. That's who we want to talk to. They locked him in a jail cell for obvious public safety reasons. When you're done, give him to us. Protect the immigrant community. Where's that illegal alien likely to recommit? In the very community he lives, the immigrant community. So protect the American communities, protect the immigrant communities, protect our officers. Give us the bad guy in the safety and security county jail. It just makes sense. Law enforcement should work with law enforcement.
Thank you, sir.
Homan is a good man. In short, ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Now, speaking of ice, they've also been quite successful, generally speaking, all day. Ice deportation raids started in cities across the United States all day. A lot of activities, mostly in Chicago as well. They included the guy that we talked about earlier, the video they was sitting in the car. Well, all the illegal immigrants now being taken into custody. It doesn't matter how many times people like Selena Gomez and other liberal celebrities have meltdowns on social media. It doesn't matter if Sunny from The View claims that she knows anything about immigration as a policy, where she was saying that, what about the white European migrants? Well, they are legal migrants. You idiot. There's a difference between legal and illegal aliens. Now, obviously, all this is going on. There is going to be a massive backlash. Again, the clashes at the border is not really a surprise. The problem is, can the Mexican government actually take control of this? Is the Mexican government going to finally take some responsibility for the mess happening in their country? Or should the Americans continue to get the consequences? I mean, it's not fair on people who live in the southern part of Texas. It's not fair on anybody in America, because it's not just the fact that the cartel are sending their people there and all the criminals and everybody else, but they're also shooting back at the obviously border control from the United States, even though they're not actually in Mexico. It's a declaration of war. How many times does this have to happen for even the international community to speak out? Where is the Mexican government themselves? Are they actually in control of their country anymore? So, I mean, she can go around and continue to blame Trump for everything. I mean, Trump just got into power and he said he wants to clean up the country and send people back to Mexico. If you came from Mexico, you will go back to Mexico. Doesn't matter if you're originally from Mexico or if you're from El Salvador or you're from Morocco. It doesn't really matter. A lot of them are going through the Mexican border, and the Mexican government needs to take responsibility, just like how the French government should take responsibility for what's going on in England, and obviously the UK government should also do the same thing. The way the Trump administration is dealing with it, they should do the same thing with France. Send everybody back, put them there, back in France. Anybody come from France, send them back in there. If the international community want to kick off, let them kick off. What are they going to do? Put sanctions on the UK? We have more friends than we think. We have the Americans as our ally. We've got the Canadians once, obviously, the Liberals get kicked out. You need to know that there is a new alliance against the globalists. We've talked about that. All the countries who claim to be for pro-freedom, the parties and politicians who want to do this, they need to win elections, they need to get in power, and they need to work with the other patriots and conservatives and nationalists all around the world. From Milei in Argentina, Bukele in El Salvador, obviously the United States, and hopefully Polyev in Canada and many other countries as well. The tide is turning. The United Kingdom is behind everybody else. All right, let's go to some super chats and then some non-super chats. First one, thank you very much, Don from Canada. Saying Trump, the king is back, baby. Absolutely. And Mark Farley says, stay safe, cute 2C. Brilliant. Cute 2C and Puppy Dan. On Saturday, that was, yes, the 1st of February, don't forget, rally. Midday, Waterloo Station in London. When do we get to see the fur baby cat? My phone will have cuteness overload. Instagram. Nancy from Canada says, take notes, Starmer, while you are in prison. Yep. I love how the UK is now a laughing stock around the world. Everyone's just laughing at us, saying, what is going on in Britain? Russell says, I would guess that the Mexican government needs to deal with this, or we will. I think this is going to be the message now from Tom Homan and even obviously Rubio, Trump, and all the others who have an interest in terms of the governance of the United States, especially after what's been going on tonight with the clashes, and it's going to happen more regularly now, again. They need to send a message to the Mexican government to say, things are different now. Joe Biden is gone. You need to take control of the cartel, or we're going to have to, in self-defense, the Americans have every right to defend their country. If the cartel are attacking the Americans on American soil, the America has every right to defend itself. Obviously, we were talking about one of the cases, the man who unfortunately killed his own wife, pregnant wife, and got a life sentence, technically life, but not really life, because it was released after 17 years. Massachusetts, yep. Someone says that Massachusetts is a liberal S-pot. Yep, I agree. But it is. It's not really an opinion, it's a fact. Christy says, I'm figuring out how Trump negotiates. Those of you who want Trump to fix the UK, we can negotiate if you take back Harry. No. I'm not making that compromise. We do not want Harry back. Although if he's just coming on his own after the divorce, it's fine. If after Meghan leaves officially, and if Harry comes back, crawling back and apologize to the country, then it's fine. He can come back. Virginia says, we in the United States of America are not laughing at the UK. We are very concerned. But that's the special relationship between the US and the UK. Bill says, UK a laughing stock. Now you know how America felt for the last 4 years. Yeah, well, it did feel quite long, that 4 years though. It felt like decades for some reason. Anyway. Lone Wolf says, we in America do not worship Trump. I don't think anybody does. I mean, some people probably do. We voted him in to represent us and our wishes. Exactly. It's democracy. And Trump gets it. You know, he's got a mandate. He's going to have to do it. That's it. And he's doing it. That's all it is. Deborah says, Maya, what's your opinion on Trump saying nice things about Starmer? It's genius. Do you think it's a question of keep your friends close and your enemies closer? So for those who are not familiar with Trump's tactics and mentality, definitely read his book, The Art of the Deal. He did the same thing with Trudeau and Macron between 2016 and 2020. It was a genius move. So essentially what you do is, and this is the Trump approach, with your allies, partners who are not really friendly about you, but they're not enemies, you don't necessarily shout at them unless it's deserved. So the approach you take is you make them uncomfortable. You corner them, essentially. So what he did with Macron and Trudeau last time, and this time he's doing it with Starmer, he's saying, yeah, best of luck, Starmer, he's great, he's doing a great job. And he sometimes even over-exaggerates his compliments, that it makes that person like Starmer uncomfortable. So he cannot attack Trump now. And the same thing happened with Macron. Macron couldn't attack Trump last time around. Every time something was going to happen from the French side, any comment was about to come, Trump would say something nice about Macron, and Macron would just withdraw his attack. It's a genius point because he knows that he's dealing with a bunch of corporatist, careerist, robotic puppets. All these politicians, the political leaders, again, the likes of Macron and Starmer, Trudeau, and many others. And these idiots, if you basically play, you don't even have to play 4D chess. You just have to basically say something or do something that's unpredictable to them. Trump's approach was so unpredictable that even Kim Jong-un, President Xi, and Vladimir Putin, they didn't know how to deal with him because they just didn't see him as predictable. But if you actually understand Trump's mentality, you find a way to see, well, he did the exact same thing last time. And he knows that if Trump comes out right now, instantly, to start randomly attacking Starmer as an opinion, as an ally, then the whole media will just focus on Trump being crazy. That's what they're going to do. So you're just going to basically allow Starmer to keep digging a hole. When your enemy is making a mistake, don't interrupt them. That's basically Trump's approach right now to the so-called allies who are not really friendly. Right. Dawn says, Harry can stay out of England with or without the harpy he married. I wish we had a Trump over here. Starmer's just a chump. Hey y'all, USA, I'm on team take Harry back. Stop trying to deport Harry, guys. Keep him there. Well, you can't send him to Canada. I mean, those watching from Canada, I'm sorry, but you're an easy scapegoat. Take Harry. I think the Canadians are too nice to deport him. So anyway, that's the latest situation with, of course, the border clashes between the Mexican cartel and the border patrol agents from Texas. We'll keep you guys posted on this. This is going to be a regular occurrence now until the Mexican government get their act together. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.